So it is no surprise that we are having a lot of issues regarding illegal immigrants entering into the United States. Many states are having a tough time just funding their specific shelters. Cities are having a very rough time funding police, schools, libraries, and even parks. And things are going from bad to worse. But what makes things even worse now is that certain cities that were willing to relocate illegal immigrants from their city to other sanctuary cities, well, guess what? Those residents, those illegal immigrants, do not want to accept the free plane ticket or bus ride. They're rejecting these without even discussing this with some officials. You know the reason why? They say they want to be there. And this is a huge concern for places like New York, Chicago, and Denver. So we'll get to that in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So major cities like New York, Chicago, and Denver, they all have restrictions as to how long you can stay in a specific shelter. Many of these restrictions are at 60 days, so just 2 months. Well, because there are so many people entering into New York City, into Chicago, and into Denver, they decided we are going to pay a one-way ticket for them to get out of our city. Just look at this. This is from New York City. It says New York City offers migrants free travel anywhere to move. This is from October 26, 2023. But this still applies to this day. It says, still, critics say Adams' action sends a message lacking in compassion. What we've witnessed from this administration, even if they're not directly saying you've got to get out of here, is that they've consistently created hysteria and chaos and confusion and have not used a tone of inclusivity and welcome, City Council member Shahana Hanif said in an interview. Goes on to say, tracking a migrant's applications for work authorization or asylum can be impossible once he or she leaves the city's care. Now, the reason why I want to address this is because of this one thing. One of the things that cities knew, or they thought they knew in the beginning, was if too many people entered into their city, all they had to do was just entice them to leave. And one of the best ways to do that is to give them a free one-way ticket, whether it's a plane or a bus, out of the city. Guess what? They're starting to turn these down. Okay? But why? Why are people turning down a free plane ticket or a bus ticket out of town? Well, this article from the New York Post says a lot because they've actually asked people that were at some of these intake centers. They asked them, why are you not leaving? You'll be amazed, shocked with what they say. Look at this. It says migrants booted from the Big Apple's overflowing shelter system on Tuesday said they're turning down the city's offer for free plane or bus tickets out of town because it's too hard to start over elsewhere. That's one reason. It's just too difficult. People have already established a little bit of a routine in their city. They made some friends. They know where to go and buy food or go and get beer or medical supplies or whatever they need. And so even though they're being kicked out after 60 days, they say they don't want to start over. Look at this. It says of the more than 24 asylum seekers the Post spoke to outside an intake center in East Village, most said they preferred to stay put and try their luck in New York City, even if it meant going more weeks without a shelter bed. What's interesting about this is people do not want to go and start something over again. Let's say they came from Venezuela or they came from Mexico. Now they land in New York. The concern now is how do they start again in another city? Let me read you this as well. It says, why leave here and start all over? One person says, I want a job, I want to stay, I want a wife too. I want to read you this down here. Okay? It says the Post spoke to asylum seekers and staff at the former St. Bridget's School on East 7th Street after it was revealed fewer than 2% of migrants there were willing to relocate to another city or state after maxing out their 30-day shelter stay. One says, I haven't heard of anyone taking the ticket. But what's crazy about this is people want to stay for multiple reasons. Some people like the city life. Some people think that New York is going to have more job opportunities, and so they stay there. Some people just want to stay in a bigger city because there's more people. Right? They like people. But here's what I think is interesting. California, as of right now, has not gotten a lot of people entering into California. And experts believe that once California officials start to really promote and advertise that they offer free healthcare, they believe there's more people that are going to enter into their state. And if more people enter into their state, especially asylum seekers, then they could potentially make more money. And I believe the last time I saw, California was about $68 billion in deficit. This is their budget for this year. They're going to run a $68 billion deficit this year. That's crazy. So, experts believe that California is going to do just about anything to try to entice people over to their state. Now, I want to show you this. Chicago is also starting to evict illegal immigrants from shelters. This is actually happening as of today. But here's the interesting part about what's going on. What we are about to see, and this is where things are shocking, New York City's plan to relocate illegal immigrants just failed. Chicago's plan to relocate illegal immigrants is failing as well. But what happens when another state, potentially California, decides they're going to entice that state to offer more? Give them more to leave. Give them a free credit card with maybe $500 on it. Give them housing assistance in the state of California. Give them something so that they can move. Even though there's a lot of people already in California, here's the concern. If they bring in more, this is going to cause additional inflation. This is going to cause home prices and rents to go up. This is going to cause gas prices to go up as well. But the concern here is what happens to all the other states, because now everyone starts moving to California. The concern is that people are going to try to make their way to California when they realize how expensive it is and how really unlivable it is because of the costs. They may move, and then they're going to move to places like Oregon, potentially Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, and places surrounding the state of California. So that's the concern, is it's not just California that's going to feel the effects, it's the states around it. But that's what we know at this time. Again, these are things that are just happening as we speak. Chicago is going to evict illegal immigrants starting today. This is massive news. This is actually going to start breaking many places, because even though Chicago is going to start the eviction process, guess what? It's the cities around Chicago that are really going to feel the effects. So as soon as we get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.